Richard Burrows steps off a plane at Heathrow Airport to be met by police after 27 years on the run, living in what he called paradise, a paedophile, finally about to face justice.
Is your name Richard Burrows?
Sorry?
Is your name Richard Burrows?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
From the mid-60s to the mid-90s, Richard Burrows obtained positions of trust and responsibility, which he used to abuse young boys, many of them repeatedly. James Harvey was one of his victims, indecently assaulted when he was 12. He has waived his right to anonymity to speak publicly about Burrows.
The reason why I'm doing this is for them, who, to put at least to put a face to real children who from, at the age of 10, 12, 13, put their trust in this man, and this is what he did to them. I want his name to be trashed in the world for everybody that ever knew him and thought that he was okay. I think he's pathetic in the true sense of the word, as in, his impulses and emotions have driven everything that he's done probably throughout the whole of his life, and have left him looking like a shambling, despicable, evil human being that could casually, over 60 years, do this to children and still wake up in the morning and find a way of justifying that. So I think he's pathetic, I think he is weak. There is nothing about this man that deserves anything other than loathing.
James was one of many victims befriended by Burrows through his involvement with the Scouts and amateur radio clubs in the Midlands. Before that, he'd worked as a housemaster at a school for troubled children in Cheshire, preying on vulnerable youngsters. But after being charged in 1997, he failed to appear in court.
3 wanted faces. First, this man, Richard John Ramsey Burrows.
Over the years, police made numerous televised appeals to track him down. These were shown to the jury during the trial.
Next is 67-year-old Richard John Ramsey Burrows.
They prompted more victims to come forward. In 2023, facial recognition software identified Burrows as a man living under the name Peter Leslie Smith in Thailand. Burrows had stolen the identity of a sick friend to obtain a passport. Before flying back to the UK, he told his brother, not all paedophiles are the same.
I just think that's a disgusting comment to make. All abuse of children has a huge impact on the victims. I think Richard Burrows appears to feel that, some of what he did didn't do any harm, essentially. And what we see when we talk to the victims is that it absolutely did do harm. For the vast majority of them, that is their first sexual experience at the age of 9, 10, 11, 12. That affects a person for the rest of their life.
Is it your sense that there are probably other victims out there?
There may well be. There's a lot of reasons why people have really difficult decisions to make as to whether they come forward in cases like this. But yes, it would not surprise me if, given the length of time that he offended over and the level of offending, if there were more people out there who were victims of him.
For James, there are questions about why Burrows was granted bail, allowing him those years of freedom. He also wonders if he should have done more to report Burrows.
Other people listening to this now might think, I'd have behaved differently in the way. But we had no language, no framework, no understanding, no imagination that this same person that had done what he'd done to us would go on and do something so much worse to somebody else. So it's almost impossible for me to sit here and say, I wish I'd done that. There was no way that I could have done. We lived in this kind of unbelievable ignorance and innocence that there were predators like this living in every single one of our institutions.
27 years late, Richard Burrows has now been convicted at Chester Crown Court. He said he came home to pay for his sins. The truth, the police say, is that he ran out of money. Some of his accusers died before seeing him face justice. A man described as an unrepentant paedophile will probably spend the rest of his life in prison. Greg Milam, Sky News.